Good afternoon, students. This is Arindam Bhagia, and I'm providing you a presentation on the poetry, what Spain was like. So, in my last presentation, I have completed the first stanza, and in this presentation, I will try to explain the next two stanza. So, what you got here? All your confinement, your animal isolation, while you are still conscious, surrounded by the abstract stones of silence, your rough wine, your smooth wine, your violent and dangerous vineyards. So let us try to understand what does it mean. The second stanza is list-like in its form. The lines come from one after another as the speaker describes other attributes of the country. So he is trying to first in the first stanza he described the people of the Spain. They were poor. They are poor bred, poor people, hard soil. This wrinkled village, motionless in time, metallic meadows, stretched out in the moonlight through the ages and things like that. Even flatlands and eagles sliced, lashed by the storm, and so on. There are several numerous examples or things which were related to Spain and which has been taken care of in the first stanza, or it has been mentioned. And in the second stanza, there are some other elements of the country which has been described, such as this one, this your animal isolation, then surrounded by abstract stones of silence, your rough wine, smooth wine, violent and dangerous vineyards. So let us try to understand what does it mean. The first, he speaks of the confinement of the Spanish people and their country. So that's why all your confinement. The people of Spain were confined. They were separated, and they were isolated from each other also. Spanish people and their country. They are isolated from one another and from rest of the world. So they were completely cut off from the rest of the world. They were fighting a civil war. They don't know what's happening outside their world, and then this occurs at a distance, not at a distance, but while they are still conscious, and while they were actually busy fighting with each other in a civil war and cut off from the rest of the world, they had still their consciousness with them. Then the fact that it is recognized is a positive. This means that a change is possible. So change is expected over here. Then he continues to describe the word like isolation is over here. You can see isolation. It's not a physical isolation. It is a mental isolation. They were completely engulfed or completely, you know, busy with this isolation. And there is an abstract wall made of stones of silence. So this word, abstract stones of silence. Here you can see abstract wall made of stones of silence around the country. So there has been an, the exchange of ideas, the exchange of words was not very smooth. So the entire country was surrounded or divided by abstract stones of silence, which encircles the violent and delicate vineyards. The entire country has been, it is surrounded by these abstract stones and silence. But on the other hand, these abstract stones of silence also protect its wine and dangerous vineyards. So that is also been mentioned here. And there are two sides to Spanish lives. The first one is the smooth wine, as you can see here, and another one is rough wine. This acknowledgement is also a part of Neruda's attempt to recognize good and bad. This rough and smooth, they both represents rough represents bad and smooth represents good. So two elements has been described over here by using a single element, that is wine. So this acknowledgement as well as do his best to remember the country he knew. This is the best thing he remembers about the country. Now we are moving. Violent and dangerous vineyard also represents the ongoing violence which was due to civil war going on. Even the vineyards also not spared. It is also. somehow a place of conflict like that. And another explanation could be that this rough wine and smooth wine, some drinks are very smooth and some drinks are very rough, and it has its own effect on human. So that can be also, that can be. So apart from bad and good, it can describe the quality of the wine itself. So in the stanza 3, what we have in the final stanza: solar stone pure among the regions of the world, Spain streaked with blood and metal, blue and victorious proletarian Spain, made of petals and bullets, unique, alive, asleep, resounding. So it is the final stanza of the poem that Neruda gives the reader something to hope for. So, so in this stanza we will find one thing, that is hope, which is very necessary. Any poet, whoever it is, if he is writing a poem, no matter whatever he said earlier, he must provide some sense of hope at the end. So here he is supplying the hope for the people of Spain and the people of the world also, facing the same consequences or same situation. So in the final stanza, Neruda gives the reader something to hope for. He steps back from addressing Spain, the country, and instead reports what he is seen, perhaps just to the reader or as a note for his own recollection. He is trying to recollect all the things he experienced in that country. He states that the country is a solar stone. This word, solar stone. He describes Spain as a solar stone. And the part of the art that takes in and gives of light, heat, and in some instances, danger and destruction. So it is a part of the earth which provide light and heat to some other part, and in some instances danger and destruction also. It is pure. It is pure. It is described as a solar stone, then it is described as pure compared to among the regions of the world. So he believed that Spain is purer than the rest of the world because they are in a constant conflict, and these elements run through the country like a vein through a stone. So the entire country has been described as a stone, and this pure thing runs through the very veins of the country Spain. Rather, the country itself has been described as a stone, and all these things, the goodness runs through the country like blood flows through the vein with blood and metal. So this elements run through the country like a vein through a stone. He make specific reference to proletarian Spain. Now, proletarian Spain, it is the working segment population, working, or rather the people who do hard works to um, to maintain their lives. Rather, labors, you can say, who contribute in the development of the country. Blue and victorious proletarian Spain. He believes that the proletarian Spain will finally win the laborious Spain, the labor class who are downtrodden, who were actually exploited. That proletarian Spain will finally win. And the description is like that: they are the people who are the most clearly made of petals and bullets. These people were described as made of petals and bullets. Petals represents flower, or rather softness, and bullet represents gun and hardship. So both of them are represented through these petals and bullets. Some of them are very soft and some of them are very hard. They are unique, alive, asleep, resounding. And he says what? The last line leaves the reader with some hope. This particular last line give us some hope, like we have in the Ulysses, like to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. That's the last line of Ulysses, written by you know Tennyson. So there also a note of vibrancy can be seen, a note of energy, a note of hope can be seen in this line also. Unique, alive, asleep. They are unique. He believes that the proletariat class is unique, and also it is alive, though asleep, but resounding. Now its beauty, general goodness radiate from the land. So the entire beauty and goodness from the country can be, and we can see the radiation like that. The goodness can radiate from the land. It is this what he wants to remember and set into history more than anything else. He wants to keep these elements which are bright, beautiful, and positive for the country Spain. He wants to preserve those things, and he wants to keep it in the history more than anything else. So that will be all for today. I hope I tried my level best to explain what Spain was like through this, through my you know candid expression. I hope it will help you to understand the poetry in a proper way. Thank you for watching this video, and please show your support by like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you again.